America's Pop Culture Trivia Show.
Check it out.
America's Pop Culture Trivia Show. With Joe Parisi.
It's episode 128 of America's Pop Culture Trivia Show. I'm Joe Parisi. I've prepared 21 fast-paced pop culture trivia questions just for you, and they're broken down into 3 rounds. Each round has 7 questions, and you get just 5 seconds between questions to think of the answer. We'll go over the answers at the end of each round after that 7th question, and we'll be in and out in about 20 minutes. So thank you for downloading this episode, giving the show a listen. Obviously, I hope you are entertained by these questions, and most importantly, I hope it sparks a little nostalgia in your mind. I hope you get reminded of some things that you loved back in the day that you just completely forgot about. So here we go, guys. Round number 1 today is going to be movies. Round number 2, music, specifically music from the late 80s. And round 3 is a mixed round. So as always, good luck. Now let's play.
Round 1.
Round 1, question number 1. From 2020, a computer-animated musical comedy drama produced by Pixar. The film stars the voices of Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, Graham Norton, and others. The story follows a pianist, Joe Gardner, who is involved in an accident before his big break as a jazz musician. Name the film. Question 2. She played Amber Evans in Mo Money, and she played Cher's sidekick Dion Davenport in Clueless. Name the actress. Question 3. The 1995 comedy film Mallrats was written and directed by who? Question 4. She's still very active today, but as a child actor, she ended up in some iconic films. She played young Karen Kinsella in Field of Dreams. She played Maisie Russell in Uncle Buck. Name the actress. Question 5. Which Adam Sandler film was released first out of these 3? Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, or The Wedding Singer? Which was released first? Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, or The Wedding Singer? Question 6. Frances McDormand starred in this drama from 2020 that was based on a book. She stars as a widow who recently lost her husband and her longtime job. She sells off most of her belongings and plans to travel around the United States in her van as a nomad, finding work wherever she can. A number of real-life nomads appear in the film, which won several Academy Awards. Name the film. Question 7. Set in the late 1960s, early 1970s, this film stars Robin Williams, initially as a mental patient who wishes to change the way doctors think and treat their patients. Name the film. And that's going to wrap up our movie round. Let's see how you did on the first 7 questions. Question number 1. From 2020, a computer-animated musical comedy drama produced by Pixar. The film stars the voices of Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, Graham Norton, and others. The story follows a pianist, Joe Gardner, who's involved in an accident before his big break as a jazz musician. Name that film. Soul. Question 2. She played Amber Evans in Mo Money, and she was Cher's sidekick Dion Davenport in Clueless. Name the actress. That is Stacey Dash. Question number 3. The 1995 comedy film Mallrats was written and directed by who? He's also in the film Kevin Smith. Question number 4. She's still very active today, but as a child actor, she ended up in some iconic films. She played young Karen Kinsella in Field of Dreams. She played Maisie Russell in Uncle Buck. Name the actress. That is Gabby Hoffman, who, as an adult, she still is doing all kinds of stuff. She was a recurring character on Girls for like the second half of that series. Great actress. Question number 5. Which of these Adam Sandler films was released first? Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, or The Wedding Singer? The answer is Billy Madison. That movie hit theaters in 1995. Happy Gilmore followed that in 96. Wedding Singer, one of my favorite silly comedies ever, The Wedding Singer, came out in 1998. I actually saw The Wedding Singer in theaters 3 times. I don't think I can say that for any other movie, and it's not that The Wedding Singer is like my favorite movie of all time. It just came out at a time in my life. I was a junior in high school. So I felt like in 98, if you were a junior in high school, you went to the movies a lot, and maybe there really just wasn't anything else that was of that much interest to me in theaters during that few-month stretch. I think that's kind of what was going on there. But I did really like that movie. Okay. Question 6. Frances McDormand starred in this drama from 2020 that was based on a book. She stars as a widow who recently lost her husband and her longtime job. She sells off most of her belongings and plans to travel around the United States in her van as a nomad, finding work wherever she can. A number of real-life nomads appear in the film, which won several Academy Awards. Name that film. That's a movie called Nomadland. One word, Nomadland. It's a good movie. It's a very interesting movie. I watched it on a plane ride last year. It was one of the free, movies on Southwest. And I was just like, oh, what's this? And I got sucked into it. Very interesting film. Question number 7. Set in the late 60s, early 70s, this film stars Robin Williams, initially as a mental patient who wishes to change the way doctors think and treat their patients. Name the film. That is Patch Adams.
Round 2.
Round 2 today is your music round, and we're focusing in specifically on the late 80s. Most of these questions have to do with stuff from like 1988, 1989. Okay? Question number 1, got some lyrics for you here. When you called me up this morning, told me about the new love you found, I said I'm happy for you. I'm really happy for you. From 1988, what band gave us the power ballad, Look Away? Question number 2. Hangin' Tough was a massive hit single for New Kids on the Block in 1988 and 1989. What is the name of the New Kids on the Block album that this song came off of? Question 3. From 1989. She drives me crazy, like no one else. She drives me crazy and I can't help myself. What group gave us the 1989 number 1 hit song, She Drives Me Crazy? Question 4. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am home again. 311 gave the world a cover of Love Song in 2004. What band gave us the original version of the song Love Song back in 1989? Question 5. When the one you love's in love with someone else, don't you know it's torture? I mean, it's a living hell. The song My Heart Can't Tell You No was first released in 1988 by what British pop rock artist? Question 6. At the time of its release in 1988, the album Forever Your Girl became the most successful debut album of all time. And it marked the first time an artist would score 4 Billboard Hot 100 #1 hits from a debut album. Name the artist that gave us Forever Your Girl. And question number 7. The band Will to Power had a hit song in 1988, which was actually a cover of 2 songs. It was a medley. One of the songs was Baby I Love Your Way. The other song fused into this hit was what? And that'll do it for round number 2. Let's see how you did with these late 80s music trivia questions. Question number 1. When you called me up this morning, told me about the new love you found, I said, I'm happy for you. I'm really happy for you. From 1988, what band gave us the power ballad, Look Away? That was Chicago. Question 2. Hangin' Tough, massive hit for New Kids on the Block in 1988 and 1989. What was the name of the New Kids on the Block album that this song came off of? Little bit of a trick question there because the answer is Hangin' Tough. That was the name of the single and the album that it came off of. Hangin' Tough became the #1 song in America on September 9th, 1989. Question 3. From 1989, She Drives Me Crazy Like No One Else. She drives me crazy and I can't help myself. What group gave us the 1989 #1 hit, She Drives Me Crazy? That is Fine Young Cannibals. So think about that song in your head. That song was recorded at Paisley Park. That is Prince's home/recording studio. Prince actually co-produced that song. And they went through a heck of a lot of trouble to get that snare drum that you hear, especially at the opening, but throughout that song, it really pops. A very unique sounding snare. They went through a lot of trouble to get it to sound just that way, and they actually recorded it all on its own and then added it into the song after the fact. Interesting stuff. To me, anyway. Question 4. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am home again. 311 gave the world a cover of Love Song back in 2004. But what band gave us the original version of Love Song back in 1989? That would be The Cure. The Cure is one of those bands that is on my bucket list of bands I would love to see live, and I just haven't yet. It looks like maybe the last time they were even in St. Louis was the year 2000. They were here in 96 and 92. But yeah, I got to catch them. Next time they come in, no excuses. Question 5. When the one you love's in love with someone else, don't you know it's torture? I mean, it's a living hell. The song My Heart Can't Tell You No was first released in 1988 by what British pop rock artist? That is Rod Stewart. Question 6. At the time of its release in 1988, the album Forever Your Girl became the most successful debut album of all time, and it marked the first time an artist would score 4 Billboard Hot 100 #1 hits from a debut album. Name the artist that gave us Forever Your Girl. That is Paula Abdul. And question 7. The band Will to Power had a hit song in 1988, which was actually a cover of two songs, a medley. One of the songs was Baby I Love Your Way, Peter Frampton's hit. What was the other song that was fused into this hit? The answer is Freebird from Lynyrd Skynyrd. I was 7 years old when that song came out, and I know I'm not alone on this, and I kind of feel silly, but this is the reality. For a bunch of my childhood, I really loved that song, and I didn't know that a different version of it, a original version of it, even existed. I just flat out thought that was the song. But I knew Baby I Love Your Way was from a different song. I had heard that one plenty, but Freebird, for the first, let's say, 12 years of my life, I only knew that version of it. It's interesting to think about songs like that when they get covered. The song, Love Song, that I mentioned earlier in the round, made famous by The Cure in the mid-'80s, then made famous all over again by 311 in 2004. Same thing. There's probably a generation of people, maybe 10, 15 years younger than me, who only knew that as a 311 song and had really no idea that that song had already been famous 20 years prior.
Round 3.
Your third and final round is a mixed round. We're going to bounce all over the place on this one. Question number 1. Name the band that did the cover of Baby I Love Your Way that would appear on the 1994 soundtrack to the movie Reality Bites. Question 2. Name the character on Family Matters that was played by Reginald VelJohnson. Question 3. In what city does a Major League Baseball team called the Guardians call home? Question 4. A professional football team founded in 1932 as the Boston Braves. They would change their name to the Redskins, then relocate to Washington, D.C. in 1937. In 2020, the team stopped using the name Redskins and simply went by the Washington Football Team. In 2022, they rebranded to what? What is this team's name now? Question 5. What was the first Major League Baseball franchise located outside of the United States? Here's a hint. Their final season in Canada would be the 2004 season. Name the team. Question 6. What is the name of the NBA team based in Memphis, Tennessee? So we're looking for the NBA, the basketball team, located in Memphis, Tennessee. And question 7. Located on 13.8 acres in Memphis, Tennessee, this mansion was once owned by Elvis Presley and is now open to the public as a museum and tourist attraction. What is it called? And that's going to wrap it up. Let's check your final 7 answers. Here we go, guys. Question number 1. Name the band that did a cover of Baby I Love Your Way that would appear on the 1994 soundtrack to the movie Reality Bites. Kind of a carryover question from the previous round. The answer is Big Mountain. That's a great version of that song, too, the reggae version. Question number 2, name the character on Family Matters that was played by Reginald VelJohnson. Carl Winslow. Question 3, in what city does a Major League Baseball team called the Guardians call home? The answer is Cleveland. When they stopped using the name the Cleveland Indians, that's what they changed to, the Cleveland Guardians. Question 4. A professional football team founded in 1932 as the Boston Braves. They changed their name to the Redskins, then relocated to Washington, D.C. in 1937. In 2020, the team stopped using the name the Redskins and simply went by the Washington Football Team. That was strange, wasn't it? I was glad they changed, but it was weird that they just were the Washington Football Team. In 2002, they finally rebranded to what? That team is now called the Washington Commanders. Question 5. What was the first Major League Baseball franchise located outside of the United States? The hint was their final season in Canada would be the 2004 season. Name the team. That is the Montreal Expos. They had the greatest hats. Question 6. What is the name of the NBA team based in Memphis, Tennessee? The answer is the Grizzlies. I just went to a Grizzlies game, took a road trip to Memphis, and went and saw the Grizzlies play the Miami Heat. It was actually the first NBA basketball game I have ever been to in my life. I loved it. Very great atmosphere. But what surprised me is while play is actually happening, they are playing music in the arena. Never was it any song you would know. It was just kind of like generic background beats, like hip-hop, R&B type beats, but just like something to kind of break the silence and keep the energy up. I just thought it was odd, but that is what happens apparently at NBA games. Final question, question 7. Another question inspired by my recent trip to Memphis. Located on 13.8 acres in Memphis, Tennessee, this mansion, once owned by Elvis Presley, is now open to the public as a museum and tourist attraction. What is it called? The answer is Graceland. And on my little trip to Memphis, when I saw the basketball game, that's what we did the next day, is we took the drive over to Graceland. If you've never been, here's what I'm going to tell you about Graceland. First of all, the cheapest adult ticket is $77, so it's not cheap. It goes up to like $200 something for a VIP tour where you get to jump lines, which is fantastic if you're there on a weekend because those lines are very, very long. And you get an actual tour guide as opposed to the headphones with the tablet where you're just kind of listening to, it was John Stamos' voice as your virtual tour guide, which was kind of neat. But it's fantastic. It's a perfectly preserved time capsule. I'm not a huge Elvis guy. I have no problem whatsoever with Elvis, like a few of the songs, but I'm not an Elvis fanatic. You know what I mean? I thought it was absolutely amazing. My 9-year-old son, who knows nothing about Elvis, thought it was awesome. So that tells you something too. It's really well done. It is something, if you're in the area, just do it. But if you have the opportunity to do it on a weekday as opposed to a weekend, I think you'd be better off. The ticket we bought like a week in advance was for 10:45 a.m. on Saturday morning. It's October. Weather's gorgeous. There were thousands of people there. At times it felt like a theme park where you were just kind of waiting in lines to get in to get your tour started. And then when you actually get to the house, it's the same thing. It's a big line. They're letting a couple in at a time so it doesn't get overcrowded. But once you're in there, totally worth it. Absolutely worth it. And now I feel like I'm a bigger Elvis fan and I'm more interested in learning more about him. So it did the job. The name of this show is America's Pop Culture Trivia Show. I'm Joe Parisi. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't already had the chance to do so, please leave the show a quick rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Of course, I do another show as well if you're into these pop culture deep dives. The other show I do is called The Odd Podcast with Joe Parisi. And recent episode that just came out on there was all about the 1989 Fleer Bill Ripken error card. Lots of episodes on there about 80s and 90s movies. So if you've got a road trip coming up, a flight, you need something to listen to, check out The Odd Podcast with Joe Parisi. Of course, if you're already caught up on this trivia show here. So thank you guys for listening. My website, joeparisivoiceover.com. You can send me emails through there anytime. Always appreciate hearing from you guys. And on Instagram, I am at joeparisivo. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.
America's Pop Culture Trivia Show with Joe Parisi.